Hey y'all. Thanks for joining. It is 7:30. We're going to give people a minute or so to jump on this call. It's going to be recorded, so you will have everything you need in order to review the rules changes and a couple of sort of professionalism things I want to go over. So we'll give everybody a minute and then we will get this thing started. Should not take too long. There are not a lot of rules changes this year. Um, but yeah, we'll give everybody a minute. All right, guys, we are going to start. Michael, I sent you a chat. I'm trying to figure out which Michael you are so I can take attendance. So just shoot me your last name in the chat. Okay, I am going to. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Um, there we go. Okay. So we have A couple of things to go over. I'm going to share my screen and we will get this thing started. All right. All right. Welcome to the 2025 Youth Recertification call. Um, Remember, this is our uniform. Um, you should have a white hat. It can say USA Lacrosse. It can say Nike. It can say really anything you want it to say. You can buy a GLOA one through the gear store. There's a link on the equipment page on galaxref.com, which I'll show you in a second. You should all have the GLOA yellow shirt. Um, and black shorts with belt loops, black belt, black ankle socks, and then all black shoes. Uh, if you're going to wear a jacket, you should wear an all black jacket. It can have a small logo or something on it. That's fine, but it shouldn't have a big logo and it shouldn't really have anything but black on it. You can also wear a long sleeve black undershirt under your yellow shirt if it's not quite cold enough for a jacket. The biggest thing is you want to match your partner. Okay, we do not wear 1 inch stripes anymore. If you are doing a youth game, this is the uniform. Okay. All right, let's talk about rules updates. Again, most of the stuff this year has really been minor changes. This just came out. I just got this the other day. These are the edits that you need to make in your rule book. So you all should have a hard copy. You should get a copy of the rule book with your USA Lacrosse membership. If you didn't get a copy this year, it means you have not gone in and selected that this is the rule book that you want. But you're going to need a copy of this. So you may need to spend $7 on the USA Lacrosse website and get this shipped to you immediately. You cannot do this job if you don't know these rules. Okay. Um, so page 3, that's just where they list things. They forgot to put something in. So 211 clarified equipment issues with goalkeeper. You have to have a legally equipped goalkeeper to start the game. They said one change was 55H. It's actually 542 penalty. Page 36, we did not remove the word immediate and replace it with slow. So if you see anything with a strike through, you're getting rid of it. If you see anything underlined, you're adding it. Page 50, it's while B1 is still in possession of the ball because the situation deals with a goalie clearing the ball. And whether you're going to throw a flag or whether there's going to be a penalty. And so the key here is that B is in possession of the ball, not A. Okay. Pretty simple stuff. Not as many as there have been in years past. So well done there. Here are the points of emphasis. Eye shade. Here's the big one. Properly worn mandatory equipment. Chin straps need to be on the chin. Elbow pads need to be on the elbow. The helmet should not come off with you just popping it off like this. You should have to undo all the chin straps. If you or a player cannot do that or can do that, then you're not wearing your helmet right. Okay. And what do I always say? Safety never takes a holiday. So, slight change to definition of scrimmage area. We'll talk about that in a sec. We've added a change to the field diagram that really doesn't affect youth. They're not going to have this at all. And then again, a re-emphasis on intentional versus unintentional checks to the head. By the way, if you guys do have questions, put them in the chat and I will bring them up. So here's our new field diagram in a high school field. This is what it should look like now. And it's just really to match the college diagram. So this area now called the coach's box is just for coaches or a player who is about to substitute. And the idea here is we want to keep the substitution area and this coach's box area sort of minimally occupied, which will give the table personnel better view of what's going on, and it will be easier for officials to manage this area. So here we go, properly worn equipment. Rule 1-9. It now says the chin strap has to be on the chin. All 4 points need to be securely fastened, and this applies to all mandatory equipment. Elbow pads need to be on the elbow. You cannot wear them on your biceps if you're a long pole. Okay? They don't do anything there. So make sure when you see players that they're wearing their equipment. Now, am I going to call a 1 minute non-releasable equipment penalty for doing this? No, I'm going to warn you first. I'm going to warn the coach at the beginning of the game when I certify him. I'm going to make sure that he knows this is a point of emphasis. And then if I see it, I'm going to say, buddy, put him on the elbows. Get the chin strap on the chin. Okay? If you don't do it again, I may send you off for being an improperly equipped player. And I will let the coach know. I've warned him once and he's still coming out doing it. At that point, my only option is to throw the 1 minute illegal equipment penalty. Okay. So again, try to let everybody know what's going on. Try to explain to them at the youth level. We are coaching these kids to understand, but remember, they are watching college and the older high school players, and they're going to do whatever they think is cool. We don't want them to think that doing this is cool. The equipment needs to be properly attached so they don't get injured. All right, so speaking of injuries, the scrimmage area now is defined as the area that is roughly 5 yards in all directions of the ball or part of active play. And we've added that the player in possession of the ball is always in the scrimmage area. So if you have a player that loses mandatory equipment or appears to be injured and he is in the scrimmage area, you are going to kill the play immediately. Okay. It used to be that, if you were kind of far away. Now, if a guy is like 60 yards away and a defenseman's shoe comes off and he needs to tie his shoe, that's fine. Let it go. But if you've got play around people that are not wearing the proper equipment, you got to kill it. Okay. And as a reminder, um, if you kill it and the offense is in possession, they keep the ball. If you kill it and it's loose, you're going to go alternate possession. All right, loss of player equipment. So, of course, on the right here, this is the famous Notre Dame 6 seconds on the clock. Kavanaugh's driving to the goal. Shoe comes off. Officials kill the play. That's what you're supposed to do. He's in the scrimmage area. If he loses mandatory equipment, you kill the play. Remember, if loss of equipment, not a cross, because you can lose your cross, you just can't participate in the play, right? The goalkeeper in the crease loses mandatory equipment, kill it immediately unless a shot in flight. Offensive player in the scrimmage area, kill it. Defender who loses mandatory equipment has to stop playing. And if they continue playing, it's an illegal procedure penalty. Okay? Flag down. So a defender loses a shoe, loses a glove. He keeps checking. That's a flag. Losing your helmet. When a player loses his helmet, you kill the play immediately. You don't allow a scoring play to continue. You kill the play immediately. Does not matter if contact was legal or illegal. So you may have a 3-minute targeting penalty on the defense, but because that player's helmet comes off, you kill it immediately. Any player whose helmet comes off, it does not matter why the helmet came off, has to leave the field and cannot return until the next dead ball following the resumption of play. That means you have to have a whistle that restarts play. And then you have to have a dead ball. So a team can't just call timeout and say, we want 41 to come back in the game. We have to he has to go off the field. You adjudicate a foul if there is a foul. And then you're going to say, all right, restart play. 41. If his team doesn't get the ball, they got to wait until the ball goes out of bounds, until somebody calls a timeout, until a goal is scored, until a whistle kills the play. If White is in possession and we restart play, White can elect to call a timeout to get this kid back in the game. Okay? And remember, team in possession or entitled to possession, so you have a play on, right, for a push. And as the result of that push, the guy's helmet comes off, you kill the play, and you will award to the team that was pushed. If it's loose, you go AP. If there's a flag down, always award the ball to the team that was flagged. Remember, your helmet could come off because you were spearing somebody else. So this can be called on the offense, this can be called on the defense, right? Those kind of penalties. All right. Restarts near the sub box. Again, this is a clarification, not really a new rule. This is what I taught you. If you have restarts that are happening in the sub box, it is never a quick restart. Period. I don't care if they're yelling, we're ready, and the coach wants you to blow the whistle. You have to come up, and I want you right at the cone, standing next to the kid that's restarting. What we don't want to happen is he restarts play and somebody subs through the sub box and starts to play him. So we're going to move him 5 yards towards the wing line. Okay. We are trying to avoid this kid getting surprised and blown up. This is never a quick restart. This is what we call the Bermuda Triangle. All right. This is what I taught you. But now they sort of took some of the language out of the rule book and now they're putting it back in so that coaches and officials can better understand. You were always going to begin a period with a face-off unless an uneven situation and a player in possession to end the period. So, for example, Team A is man up. They have the ball as time expires, and that penalty is going to continue into the next period. Let's say there's 20 seconds left on the penalty. That means we have an uneven situation, 6-on-5, and Team A was in possession. So they're going to retain possession in the same relative spot, now on the other side of the field, because we're going to swap sides. And we're not going to have a face-off. If you have a flag down slow whistle to end a period, doesn't matter if anybody's in possession when the clock runs out, because the flag denotes possession. Okay? Once you throw that flag, you know who's getting the ball. Period ends, they're going to start with the ball, man up. Play on for a loose ball in an uneven situation. So it's 6-on-5, there's 5 seconds left. You get a loose ball push, your hand goes up, play on. Play on denotes possession. So it doesn't matter if they don't actually have their ball on the stick and can carry, cradle, pass, or shoot. Play on tells us that they get the ball. And then, of course, any foul prior to a face-off. So you have a conduct foul, you have an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, you have delay of game. You're just going to give the ball to the other team. That's how that's gonna work, right? You may adjudicate a foul, but it may just be a loose ball technical. Okay, so no face. They've limited the number of times we're going to use AP and sort of replaced it with the idea of refacing. So you're going to reface on a face-off if you have an inadvertent whistle, like your partner randomly blows his whistle and nobody's got the ball. You just reface. Okay, they'd rather have the kids decide it than the rule book. Ball goes out of bounds in the midfield area and you don't know who last touched it. So it goes out in between the restraining lines. You don't know who touched it. You reface. Injury on the faceoff. You reface. Player loses mandatory equipment on the faceoff. You reface. Both guys go early. You reface. Okay. You're going to use AP if the ball crosses the restraining line, goes out of bounds, and you don't know who it was on. So it's got to go over the restraining line into somebody's offensive end of the field and go out of bounds. You're just going to go AP. Okay. Ball goes across the defensive restraining line and a player loses mandatory equipment. Use AP. again, this is a clarification. This is what I've taught you. When you have a flag down, slow whistle. So a team is in possession of the ball, carrying, cradling, passing, shooting, and then you have a flag. If the team that is fouled is passing the ball, so let's say I'm passing to my partner and somebody on my team gets slashed. Because I am passing, we consider that to be possession. I know it's weird. It's not really in possession. For every other part of the rule book, it says it's not in possession, but this is what the rules people are telling us. If you are shooting and the ball's in the air and your team gets slashed, we throw a flag and we allow that play to keep going. We're going to end a flag down slow whistle. Remember goodies, a goal, offense commits a foul, out of bounds, defense gains possession, injury that requires a stoppage in play, end of period or equipment loss, second foul by the defense unless a scoring play is in progress. Remember goodies. Um, Again, clarification, they added this. Uh, you can check somebody if you are within 5 yards of a ball in flight. So this guy's not in possession, but we're all within 5 yards of a loose ball. So again, here's this weird thing. Now they're saying this is loose, so you're allowed to check this guy. All right, checks involving the head and neck. Remember, for those of you who are doing like uh, sort of U12, 14, high school, um, indirect contact to the head. So let's say this check begins at the shoulder and slides up into the neck. That is a 1 minute non-releasable foul. Now, if it's super violent, you can escalate it. But this is what I like to call a good lacrosse play gone bad. Direct contact has to be a 2 or 3 minute foul with the possibility of ejection. Okay. And that is you just hammer a guy in the head. I'm not talking you make contact. I'm talking you hammer a guy in the helmet. I'm going to remind you of Rule 542 situation. A1 attempts to check B1's cross, but instead A1's cross makes slight contact with B1's head or neck. In A, no foul. This is a brush. You can have contact to the head that is nothing. But this is in high school U14. When you are below that level, contact to the head is always going to be at least a slash, if not an automatic 1 minute non-releasable or multiple minute non-releasable foul. Okay? One of the things that I hear about youth officials is that you guys are not willing to call these multi-minute fouls. If you are doing a U9 game and somebody makes contact to the head, it needs to be a real penalty. And particularly if it's vicious or violent or a distinct blow, a direct hit, like we got to throw the flag and adjudicate the foul. That's our job. We need to be able to do that. All right.
All right. Timeline of
Oh, hold on.
So,
Let me go back and let me just do one thing here. I sort of forgot about this. Use timings, play narratives. Here we go. All right. Let's talk a little bit about you guys getting games and making sure we all know what's going on, right? So 48 hours before the game, you need to make sure you've accepted the game and arbiter. As soon as you get a game, you have to decide, I am available for this game or I am not available. If you are not available and you said you were, you better email, text, or call your assigner. Okay? You got to make sure your blocks are up to date. If you say you're available, they're counting on you to do that game. If you say you're not available, they're not going to assign you something. Okay. Life gets in the way. I understand something pops up at the last minute, but if it pops up at the last minute, call your assigner. Say, hey, I just had to pull this shift at work, or I have this thing at school, or my car's not working and I can't get a ride. That's fine. But don't wait till the last second. Everybody thinks you're available, and then at the last minute, you just decide you didn't really want to do it. Um, if the referee sends an email or a text to you, respond immediately. Do not wait for 5 hours. Just respond. Okay. Um, 24 hours before the game, make sure you're prepping gear, make sure you're looking at the rules for that league, make sure you're reviewing the rule book, get in the mechanics manual, really get yourself in the right space. The day of the game, confirm you have your uniform, check the traffic, check the weather. Okay. An hour before, right? As you're pulling into the parking lot, let your partner know that you're there. Text them. Okay. Figure out where you're going to meet and do your pregame, where you're going to review the rules and make sure everybody knows what's going on. Get on field, inspect the field, make sure you understand what you're dealing with. Um, you have to certify the coaches, right? Look them in the eye, strong handshake, introduce yourself, full name. Okay. Um, right? You can talk to the face-off guys, you can do all those kind of things so that we all know what's happening. And then game time, you know, probably you're not going to have an anthem, but you definitely want to make sure there are no balls in the goal. You may do a lineup, you may not. You might go right into it, but you have a lot of these things to do, and it's important that you're doing them not just for yourself, but so that your partner can trust you. Your partner knows that you're going to be there and you're going to be ready and you're going to have the right uniform, and we're all ready to go. And then, when that horn goes off or it turns 11 a.m., start that game, get it going, right? Those kids want to play. That's what you're there to do. The game should start on time. So all of you should have an Arbiter account. Um, USA Lacrosse, NFHS, they do not assign games. So make sure that your Arbiter account is set up and ready to go. And this is what the new dashboard looks like. They've sort of revised their setup. So these are my games, right? I'm in two leagues, the GLOA and the MCLA. You have to check that blue box in the upper left corner. Okay. You have to say that you are ready to be assigned. If you do not check that box, you are telling the people that you're not officiating this spring. Okay. And that's if you want to officiate, check the box. Okay. Um, get into Arbiter, and I will show you my live account in a bit. You can, if you have a blue square on this, it means you've got a game assigned. If you have green, you can attach yourself to games so that the other officials sort of know you're coming. You can sit in on their pregame. Um, you can block a full day. You can block a partial day. So this was the week of Thanksgiving in 2021, and I blocked all those days off, right? Um, you know you're at school. You know when your games are on the weekends. You know when you have practice. You know when you have other events. Get in there and make sure you're setting this up. Okay. You not setting this up is going to lead to problems with assigners, and they're going to start not assigning you games. Okay. If you say you're available, you should be available. Right. Again, pregame checklist, communicate with your partner, confirm the time and location of where it's going to be, check your uniform and equipment, review the rules, arrive on time, be ready. Pre-game's available. You can go on to galaxref.com under the resources page and find this pregame. If you want to download it as a Word document and add things to it, you can also see the non-rookie two-man. You can see the three-man. I've got my NCAA one up there if you want to take a look at that. But this is what you need to go through to get yourself ready, okay? That pregame conference is really important. What level are you officiating? What are the specific league rules? Make sure you know that stuff. And then again, sometimes it's going to be crazy. There'll be a lot of stuff going on. Um, you'll hear lots of whistles. You want to make sure the fans are in the right spot. You want to make sure everybody understands what is happening. Inspect the field, right? Are there muddy spots? Are there holes? Are there things you're worried about? Um, make sure all of these things are available to you. All right, let's go back. Right? If you've got posts like this on the end line, they need to have these pads. Are there holes in the net? Do you have a midline? Are there cones? Are they in the right place? All this stuff is important, and it may not be set up right. Um, if the field doesn't meet requirements, talk to the home coach, right, the head coach for the home team. If you can't make the changes, you play the game. Um, right? But if you have an issue where it's really wet and really gross, you may decide once the game starts that the field is unplayable. Okay. Um, Gotta certify. So let's make sure we're going in there and certifying the coach. Okay. Um, when they say yes, I certify my players are properly equipped. This is what they're agreeing to. Okay. And again, this is where you really want to mention, hey, coach, this year, equipment has to be worn the way the manufacturer intended it to be worn. Um, you should all have a scorecard. Let's make sure that we are, writing your partners down, writing the coach's name down. Um, Make sure you get an in-home, right? You can write captains down, or you can just say, "Hey, I'm going to bring send your captains out." Um, Make sure you note who has possession. If you're not going to do a coin toss, I always do it from I sort of decide at the beginning of the game. These guys traveled farther, right? This is their home. They're the visitor. They're going to get AP to start. Um, Make sure I write no clock or clock to see which side of the field a team is defending to start the game. Um, uh, write goals down. Don't do this. Don't just do the slash marks, right? 34 scores, write 34's number and circle it. Four scores, write four and circle it. That way we will know what the score is, right? If a coach says, "Hey, I have 4 goals," you say, "No, you have these 3 goals, and these are the 3 guys that scored." Right? That's a much better argument. Same thing with timeouts. I usually write the score at the quarter in the bottom of the little quarter section there. For timeouts, write the quarter and the time. Don't just make an X. You want to know that information. So when he says, "No, I've got 2 timeouts," no, you don't. Oh, hey, no, that's not particularly helpful for you. So let's do that. All right. Um, Go talk to the table people, right? It might be Billy's mom, who knows? Um, Introduce yourself, make sure they're clear on their responsibilities. Got to be provided by the home team. Make sure the table is far enough back that it's not going to be an issue. Talk about the length of periods. Make sure they know if it's start or running time. Review the signals, right? This is a 30-second penalty. 1, 2, 3 minutes. Is there a horn? Do they have a scorebook? If they're keeping the scorebook, they definitely have to write down penalties, the length of the penalty, and the player. Because remember, if you get 5 minutes of personal fouls, you're disqualified from the remainder of the contest. Um, you should be going over and checking the score at each quarter. These are important things. Here's an example of when the table doesn't quite have it together and is too close. All right. There's really nowhere else to put the table here. But it can be really dangerous. You want to make sure everybody understands and is as far back as they can be. Okay. Same thing with fans. They can't be on the sideline. They can't literally be on the field of play, right? We've got multiple people asleep on the field of play here. That's not going to be a good thing. So we want to make sure people are as far back as they can be. Um, this means to check the goals. Um, Make sure you don't have a ball in the goal to start the game. That's a big one, right? And again, if you're going to do the lineup, right, keep it short. Make sure everybody understands what's happening. Goalies cross, introduce yourself to your opponent. Remember, the left shoulder is going to face the goal they are defending. So I can tell you that white is defending the goal on their left, and blue is defending the goal on my right here because that's their left, right? That's how they should line up. Right. And then once you get everybody to go to what's going on, you're going to be somebody's going to become the face-off official, somebody's going to become the wing official. Right. All right. Let me show you where some of these resources are that you can check out. So first off, here is my account for USA Lacrosse. Right. And so when I log in to my page, and I go to my account, I'm going to go to my transcripts right here. And you will see it says Boys Annual Certification 2025. I have completed all my requirements. You need to do this. You need to do the rules and penalties course at least once. So I did it in 2013. I have not needed to do it again. And the boys official professional development, right? So I did this in December. Um, I have taken the NFHS rules exam. I'm going to take the youth exam probably next week. Um, but you have to take the high school rules exam because everything is based off of high school rules. Um, I take the college rules exam somewhere else. I don't need to do it here, right? Um, and then there are optional resources, right? So you can, if you want to learn some of these things, you can jump in. You can download the two-person mechanics manual, the updated version. You can also download the three-man mechanics manual, right? All right, let's look at GAlaxref.com. So if you're not going here a lot, you really should. So we've got the rule book edits. Um, we've got rules quizzes. If you want to take some rules quizzes, rules 1 through 7 are all included here. Um, you can go to NFHS All Access if you would like to purchase an online version of the rule book. So lots of good stuff here. If we go up here to resources, I want to show you one particular resource that I think you need to check out. So it is the 2025 Personal Foul Reference Sheet. This is a chart that I created, and it tells you what the rule is, so cross-checking, and it gives you the language in the rule book of what we should be looking for. This is the time you cannot have a 2-minute non-releasable cross-check. All cross-checks are releasable. Here are the exceptions to calling a cross-check. And then I have special situations that are written into the rule book, right? So for example, slashing, we can say repeatedly striking the lower gloved hand on a cross with no attempt to dislodge the ball is a slash, okay? We have contact alone is not enough, i.e. the brush, Rule 5-7 situation, which I showed you earlier. And so this goes through all of the personal fouls. I'll be working on one for uh, technical fouls, and I'll add it to this. So I'll let you guys know when that becomes available. Um, right? If you want to look at the foul tree, I've got the certification cards. I've got the game guide. These are the updated mechanics manual from USA Lacrosse. Um, there are great talks and things that you can listen to here that are a little older. Um, if you go to our YouTube channel, uh, I am about to post sort of my favorite, how to deal with difficult situations. But we've got things on timeouts. We've got all sorts of stuff, and you can check out our playlists. You should check out the pregame. This is a little series that I started, and a bunch of other people have sort of helped me out. But we've got
Greg, how you doing?
so me talking about situations that are happening during the season. Okay, so we've got pregame communication, ejections, wards, the restraining line. Um, this is an update where I actually grabbed the game film of the situation, slashes and contact to the head. This is all stuff that you can check out and listen to as you're driving to a game and kind of get ready for what's happening. Um, all right. If you have a problem and something goes crazy in your game, make sure, if you're the referee, that you are filling out the incident report. You go to contact us, you go down to incident report, and you will get the report right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer all these questions, and then you're going to click what was going on. So is it weather? Did you have to stop the game? Field conditions, injury, forfeit, an ejection, a disqualification. Um, and you are going to give the number and the full name of the people involved. Don't just say white 34. Um, and then you're going to write up a factual narrative. This is exactly what happened. Okay. And if you need help writing any one of those, just call me. We'll work on it together and we'll get it all straightened out. But if you have an incident that is worthy of a report, big injury, ejection, disqualification, call the person who assigned you the game immediately and make sure they know what's going on. So let's look at Arbiter. This is the new landing page, and you got to select for officials. So this is going to take you right here. You can scroll down and you're going to see Patrick Joyce, the head assigner. These are when all the tournaments are. This is the contact information for all these guys. So make sure you have that in your phone. When you go to blocks, blue are when I have games. Now, some of these I'm actually the observer. I'm not doing 79 games in a row, but a lot of these blocks here for like this night, this day, those are games that I have on other assignment systems. So I have to go in when I get a game in college and make sure I block the high school schedule. Um, and it's really important that you have this up to date. Um, you need to set your travel limits, right? Mine are set at 100 miles. So that means from zip code to zip code, I am willing to drive 100 miles. If you set it to 5 miles, you may not get any games. And you can edit it based on the day. So I sort of set mine during the work week just in the middle of Atlanta because more schools are available to me. And on the weekends, I tend to set it nearer to home, right? But you can set this up any way that you want to do it. Okay. Um, so yeah, you can export a summary and you can do all those things. If you don't have the Arbiter app, download the Arbiter app. It makes it really helpful. Um, in settings, you can set this up to make sure that you are getting a text message when you get games and all the various reasons you might, if you get assigned, unassigned, game gets changed or modified, you get a text message. It's really easy to deal with. Okay. So make sure you are doing all of those things. Get in the rule book. Make sure you take your test. You do not need to send me. If you are already an official, you do not need to send me your scores. It will not let you complete the test until you pass. So make sure you're taking the tests, youth and high school. Get in the rule book. get your uniform ready, get in shape, and get ready to go out there and call games. All right. That's all I got today, folks. So thank you very much for joining. Again, I will post this and send this out to everybody later on tomorrow. But if you have questions, let me know. Give me a call. Love to chat. All right, guys.